Spain has been very, very uncooperative. And so has UK. Now, the second one is shocking, but this is not the age of Churchill. I will say the UK has been very, very uncooperative with that stupid island that they have, that they gave away and took a 100-year lease, having to do with perhaps indigenous people claiming the island that never even saw the island before. What's that all about? And they ruin relationships. It's a shame. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not happy with the UK either. That island that you read about, the lease, okay, he made it for whatever reason, he made a lease of the island. Somebody came and took it away from him. And it's taken 3-4 days for us to work out where we can land there. It would have been much more convenient landing there as opposed to flying many extra hours. So we are very surprised. This is not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
He's a good man, Nigel Farage, of course, the leader of the Reform Party, and he joins us now from the United Kingdom. Nigel, lovely to see you, mate. It's been fascinating to watch. And again, after our show goes off the line, often you'll see live broadcasts on the Reform YouTube page. So I'm right across all the press conferences you've been doing in great detail in the past couple of days, including your comments when it comes to Iran. What's your thoughts about what is playing out and the UK Prime Minister not wanting to be part of it?
Well, there's no doubt that the 2015 deal that was done between America, the European Union and Britain was, look, we'll free up all your money and you promise not to develop nuclear weapons. What did Iran do? They went on developing nuclear weapons and they used the freed up money to fund Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas and global terrorism. So, it comes a point when something has to be done. I do believe that morally, what Trump is trying to do, what Israel is trying to do, is right. And just think about this one fact. This regime have executed 5,000 gay people. So you would have thought people on the centre-left of politics might think there was a good reason to get rid of him. The French have stepped up and supported the Americans. The Australian government have said supportive things. The Canadian government have said supportive things. The Greeks have got their navy in the Mediterranean, effectively to protect a British base on Cyprus. And what have we got? We've got an absolute loser of a Prime Minister who follows, he doesn't lead, he banned the Americans from using our bases. Now, he says, OK, you can use our bases. And when he talks about the activities over the weekend, he keeps saying we were not involved because of international law, whatever that is supposed to be. And you know something? Much of this is happening because there is now a growing leftward move in British politics based to quite a large extent around the Muslim vote in this country, and he's terrified of alienating that vote. It is an absolute disgrace, and it shows you just how far down the world rankings my country is sinking.
Well, and we'll get to the by-election where family voting was part of that particular issue.
Yeah.
But again, the idea that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is a terrorist organisation as declared in Australia, terrorist organisation as declared last week in the EU, but it is not banned and declared to be such in the UK. They can't even do that.
No, they can't, and we had protests out in the street of London this weekend, pro-Iranian regime demonstrations on the streets of London, and a really big one planned for a couple of weeks' time. Even the European Union, who I've been rather critical of over the decades, even they are prescribing the IRGC, and yet British governments won't do it.
Let's talk about the by-election, one where the Reform Party did come second, but it was the Greens who turned what was, I think, a 13,000 vote lead for Labor into a 40 points win that they ended up having over Reform at 28, Labor at 25. But let's talk about this here, where the practice of family voting. Now, it wasn't members of the Reform Party who saw this happening. It was an independent organisation that saw it in 60 to 70% of polling booths. They saw a bunch of people walk in and the bloke tells them what to do.
Yeah, that's right, and this has been going on. I've been railing about this now for many, many years, and all I've ever had is sour grapes from Nigel Farage. The Labour Party never wanted to do anything about it because it was in their favour. The Tory Party took the view they weren't going to win in the big we won't worry about it. Literally, men marching women, and in some cases children over 18, into the polling booth, overseeing their vote, and in most cases photographing it.
Wow.
So they could prove to the mosque that they'd done the right thing. Now, just think, if that's what's happening in the polling booths, what on earth do you think is happening with mass postal voting? Do you think those women in non-English speaking Pakistani households, do you think those women even get to see the ballot paper? I doubt it. And one more thing, we've always had Commonwealth voting rights. So, an Australian living in London can relatively easily get the right to vote in a general election. And that was fine until the age of mass migration, the Boris wave, and all the rest of it. And I am as certain as I can be that amongst British-born voters, our candidate won the by-election last week. There were thousands of people with Pakistani passports who, just because they can show they have a settled address in the UK, were voting last Thursday. So the whole democratic system needs fundamental reform. And I've been out campaigning, and I won a big court battle just 2 weeks ago to get the vote back for 4.6 million people who were going to be denied their vote on May the 7th in my local elections this year. And I'm going to fight for the integrity of our democratic system. I don't care how many years it takes. I promise you, I'll win.